The ship. Colonel? Hush, Rowlick. I can see him on my infrared. He's not in any distress and is currently crawling through a vent? You know what? I'm not going to question it. We have an objective to complete, and he left us with the PHSH, so let's get that activated before Vareka comes through a hollow port and throttles me. Um, which button was it again? Sighing, Rowlick takes over from Carthon and presses a blue square button on the top of the device, causing it to light up and float away to support itself through the use of a combination of magnetism and air propulsion. Hovering for a solid minute, several lights and mechanisms activating and deactivating seemingly at random, the PHSH begins to float to the hallway, where it flashes in their direction. So I guess that means we follow it now? It probably doesn't need saying, but we should probably move forward with our safeties off. Agreed, sir. On your orders. As the trio made their way forward down the oppressive hallway, moving slowly and silently at a leapfrog formation, a sense of dread began to gnaw at the back of their consciousness. There had been no resistance so far, nor any sign of life. Once the PHSH made a sharp left turn, the rooms got more sophisticated, at least. Instead of storage rooms full of food rations and other various supplies, now there were medical and science labs full of brightly colored chemicals. Still no combatants, or even civilians. No living thing except for themselves and their commander, wherever he was. Hey, Rowley, hold up a minute. I'm getting some off-the-charts readings on that stuff. What, like radiation? That's just it, I can't tell. It seems to be in a near constant state of flux. I can't even tell which way is up on these graphs. It could be harmful. Let's reroute around this room and leave the scientific analysis to the scientists. How do we tell the PHSH to come back? That is a good question. Um, Wait, we don't have to. Look, there's another door on the opposite side of the room, and it looks like all these other doors along the hallway. That means that we can most likely loop around. That makes sense. Good eye. Just in case, we should probably split up. You stay here and guard the PHSH. I'll scout around, and if I find the door, I'll upload the path to your mind drive through the neural link. At Relic's nod of acceptance, Carthan took off down the hall, hugging the shadows and the corners, carefully moving forward in the general direction of what he hoped was the other side of the room. By the time he had made it about halfway to his estimated destination, the panel on his right caught his eye. It looked like a neural uplink port, but instead of the wireless hookup polygon, there was a long metal arm with a speaker on the end. Or at least that's what it looked like. Just as curiosity was about to get the better of him, he was startled out of his thoughts by Jessex falling out of the ceiling. Where is Rowlick? Yay! Stardust and Comet Tails! Commander, don't do that! Please! I left him guarding the PHSH. We need to route around a room, and the PHSH is already inside it. We're not too far from where the other side of the room should be, actually. Why was the reroute necessary? Did you encounter resistance? No, it's more of an environmental hazard. Exposure was definitely not a good idea, though. So he's back there waiting on one end, and now I'm going to meet up with him on the other. We haven't seen so much as a scale, honestly. Carthan moved past Jessex then, continuing on his way and to the left, huffing in annoyance. Rounding the corner, Carthan was relieved to see that there was a door where the door for the room should be. It was covered in all manner of neon symbols that meant nothing to him. Turning back the way he'd come, he expected Jessex to be right behind him, but that was not the case. Are you spacing me right now? Where in the cosmos did he go? You know what? I don't have time for this. I've left Relic waiting long enough. With that, he focused his attention on the door once again. So, how does this work? Motion activated? Walking up to the door, he made all manner of motions before giving up and looking for a panel somewhere. Oh, come on. Do not do this to me. Not today. Seriously, no panels? No keyholes? No nothing? What do I have to do? Say the magic word? Activating his bichromatic X-ray electronic detector, he quickly scanned the surrounding wall near the door and then the door itself. Ha! Gotcha! Now I just need to adjust the settings on my multiphasic sidearm here and then aim for that spot. With an explosion of sparks and smoke, the door opened, revealing a very on-guard Rowlick on the other side. Yikes! Don't shoot! It's just me! Sergeant, stand down! As he shouted, he had to dart to the side for cover as Rowlick opened fire on where he'd been standing just a moment ago. My apologies, Lieutenant Colonel. I am on edge. Well, that's the understatement of the light year. I'm uploading the route to you now. Oh, and look, the PHSH is swimming over to me. Perfect. Oh, and if you happen to run into the commander on your way over here, try not to shoot at him, too. Once they were reunited, the sergeant and lieutenant colonel continued, following the PHSH, which had drastically picked up the pace as they kept rounding corners and weaving in and out of different rooms. You know, I'm beginning to think the captain forgot a few steps in the field testing process. Don't ever let Vereka hear you say that. She'll just create something even more brilliant and then rub your folly in your face. I've seen it done too many times. We keep moving in an upward direction. That is usually where the bridge is located. It is strange that I'm not picking up on any other life forms. This is a large ship, certainly much bigger than our own, and it's still functional. I do not like this. I'm with you there. Did you run into the commander earlier? I did not. Was I supposed to? The last time I saw him was in the hallway. He dropped down out of a vent and darn near gave me a heart attack, and vanished again. Maybe we aren't seeing him because he's off having a thrilling battle without us? I think we would hear that. Wait, the PHSH is stopping again. Sure enough, the machine had slowed to a standstill, rotating on its y-axis. Maybe it needs recalibrating. This is definitely not the bridge. Whirring and extending all of its arms, the PHSH floated over to a small cubical extension extruding from the center of the floor. Playing a sequence of carefully pitched tones, a panel opened on the top and the PHSH connected to it. After 5 agonizingly long minutes, a familiar voice began to play through their mind drives. This is the Proxima Arcturus. Repeat, this is the Proxima Arcturus. Do you read me? Glancing at Rowlick, Carthan began to reply. Copy that, Proxima. This is Lieutenant Colonel Hazik. We aren't sure if this is what qualifies as the bridge, but your PHSH seems to think that it is. We've cleared at least half the ship, and so far there have been no signs of active life. We did find a lab with some highly radioactive and dangerous chemicals, and a strange terminal, but nothing else so far. What's your status? This is Major Sanasha. Were any of you exposed to those chemicals? Not in any significant way, no. I'll understand if you still want to complete an examination for safety purposes. Those are some very freaky readings. Captain, your machine was exposed to those chemicals for a prolonged period of time. That's all right. I designed it to be able to withstand extreme conditions. I'll have a look at it, regardless. If you'll wait a few moments, I can reinforce our signal and allow you to communicate through the mind drive. Well, you and the commander. Sorry, Sergeant, but you don't have the necessary upgrades to sustain that. About the commander. Yes, Vereka, the team can wait as long as you need. I was able to scope out the rest of the ship, and there are no live Krolze aboard. There are, however, several types of technology we are unfamiliar with, and the ship's defenses appear to be dormant, almost asleep, but they can be awakened if you are uncareful. We will stick to the plan. As soon as you are done, board the shuttle, and Sergeant Hazik will be waiting to meet you in the hangar bay. Colonel Jaffel out.